and welcome back to another Tea Time with me, Amanda Prochaska. Today, we're going to talk all about digital adoption platforms, which might be a new concept for you. So stay tuned, grab your favorite drink of choice, and let's come on and talk about these wonderful new advancements in change management. All right, before we get started, cup of tea today is a peach lemonade. Kind of reflects my shirt. Love the glass, of course. I hope you have a drink of choice with you right now, and we're gonna just have a chat for the next 15 to 20 minutes about digital adoption platforms and what they can do for your ongoing change management strategies. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk a little bit first about digital adoption platforms, what they are, but then I want to go through 5 different ways these platforms will help you with your change management. And that ranges from training to the sustainability of your change to being able to manage complex processes through the use of a digital adoption platform, the process adherence that could come along with it, and the level of comfort you can give your people because of this platform being used. So going back to what this is, what is this whole concept? So I want to give a shout out first. If you guys want to Google them, we'll also put a link at the bottom. Our partner Apti. So Apti is a digital adoption platform, and if I can just tell you in a brief overview way, it is a system that lays on top of your core application. So for instance, if you have an ERP, or if you use Coupa or Reba or any other system for your purchasing, it could be ServiceNow. And on these interfaces, it can be complicated for an end user or any user to understand what they need to do next, or understand the process, or to remember where they click next, or whatever it might be. So this platform sits on top of your applications to have almost like on-screen training as you're going through a transaction. So if you think about all your infrequent users that might have attended training 6 months ago, but they have no idea what they're doing now, these platforms are always there. So they can help guide and direct and answer questions right on the spot, and help your end users feel very comfortable with the usage of these applications. It gives a whole different kind of user experience to those platforms. And in a lot of these cases, you're not going to switch out your ERP because it's not easy to use. That's just not going to happen. And then so often it becomes a change management issue where people aren't using it. They would prefer using spreadsheets or other applications because they just don't know how to use the ERP, or they don't like using it, etc. So these DAPs, as they call them, will help you drive that adoption up, give a different comfort level to your end users, the users of these applications, and hopefully get you better compliance to the processes that you want people to use. So this is such new fun technology that's totally changing the game around change management. So let's talk about 5 different ways, and there's a ton more, but these are just the 5 that are off the top of my head around how a DAP can help you on your change management journey. Again, with whatever application you're thinking about in the back of your mind. First is training. Training is so difficult because not all training is alike. You can't just have one standard training and it fits everyone's needs and it fits their learning styles. Plus, it takes a lot of time to train everyone. And I'm not saying because you have a DAP, you don't have to do training. I'm not saying that. But what happens with the use of a system like Apti or any other DAP that's out there, it helps accelerate your training and make your training more impactful. So What I mean by that, so today at Wonder Services, when a DAP is not being used, we have to create 2-pagers, 1-pagers, quick reference guides to help people understand how to do a certain transaction in the ERP or any other application. So we do that manually. We understand, we do the screenshots and all of that, and we give kind of instructions on how to do it. Well, if you're using a DAP, you can actually configure, like go through the process, and it records it on the screen. So it learns what the process should be, where you should be pointing and clicking, and then you just simply save off a PDF of the 1-pager that you just recorded in the system. So now, not only do you have that kind of quick reference guide, you also have it recorded for the on-screen prompts. So if someone gets stuck in a transaction, they don't have to go to the quick reference guide anymore. They can just see it right there on screen, which is a huge game changer. It also helps you if you're doing let's just say an in-person instructor-led training. You can still do that. Obviously, that might be core to how you're managing the change. However, wouldn't it be so nice if you're going through that training and you can show people that, hey, if you ever get lost in what you're doing or why you're doing it, there's going to be on-screen prompts for you to figure out the next step forward. Such a game changer when it comes to the sustainability and that learning curve that people have. We know that if people don't use the training right away, it might be lost. So that is something else that these DAPs really help you achieve, is that kind of more of that sustainability of the training itself. So super cool aspects, like if you think about how complicated your training programs are, or those infrequent users in particular, this could be a game changer for you. The next one is, and I already hit on this a little bit, but I've been talking a lot today, so the tea is really awesome. The next one is the sustainability of the change. Now, I've already mentioned that people forget the training. They might forget the process nuance. Like in every training that we do, there's like usually these little boxes in the corner that say, don't forget X, Y, and Z, or hey, if you do this, don't forget to do that. I was just talking to a client today, and there's a radio button in their system that is either you select amount or you select quantity. And depending on what you select, it drives a completely different process through the system, different requirements, etc. And people get it wrong all the time. We've trained on it. But you can train people, but that little nuance, especially if they have their own day jobs, like they're not in the system all day long. They're selling, they're a marketer, they're producing your product, whatever it might be. They're not intended to know the nuance in your system, right? So a DAP really helps you with sustainability of that change. It helps bring people along. It gives them a different level of understanding. And if they forget, because they do have a lot going on, there are prompts right there for the user to get right back onto track. Okay. Another core one that comes up all the time, particularly in procurement, is categorization of your spend. You have people who will select the wrong categories, select the wrong GL accounts, and then you have all these financial impacts because of it. Goes to the wrong GL or whatnot. Your spend categorization is all off from a sourcing standpoint. So wouldn't it be so cool if you had kind of on-screen prompts that could direct the people in the right ways? So all kinds of ways that you could use a DAP in your process, but really what it comes down to is that once you get your core training done or your core change management done around the implementation, when you have a DAP in place, it continues to go, right? You don't have to rely as much on in-person or ongoing training, or forgetting to update your training documents and then nobody uses them anyway because you don't have a schedule in place. It's all right there built into the system, which is huge. Okay. The next one, number 3, that I love to talk about is complexity of process. When you go through a change, let's just say a procurement change, an ERP change, there are a lot of processes that are changing alongside of the system. And sometimes those can be very, very complicated. So I'll give a quick example. We were working with a client and in procurement, and they were trying to define their buying channels. And for those who are not in procurement, a buying channel is like how you need to buy certain items, okay? They came up with like 20 different buying channels. So if you think about that from an end user perspective, let's just say I'm in sales and I need to buy something. Now I have to remember the 20 different ways to buy it. Like that seems insane to me. So this is an example from that client. So let's just say I'm buying a service and that service is less than $500, and outside of certain categories, it would go through one process, right? However, if I'm buying a service and it's over $500, but less than $10,000, and outside of certain categories, it would go through a unique process. The last one is I'm buying a service, but it was over $10,000, and it was outside of or inside certain categories, then it would have a unique process too. To be able to train that and have end users remember it is almost impossible. You think about that poor sales guy or gal, like sitting there going, I don't know, was it 500 or 5,000, or what categories was it again? So sometimes we can maybe over-engineer some of our processes, or it's just simply needed to run the business most effectively. But to be able to train people to remember that is almost impossible, nor should it be realistic to expect that. A DAP will help you guide people along in the process, which is awesome. So if they go in and you tell the DAP, hey, we're going to allow someone to put in a service, and if it's under $500 and in certain categories that they've selected, prompt them to go in a certain way. So that is super cool to me. Like as a change leader, someone that's been leading change for a long time, and that's Wonder Services, what we do, to be able to have people adopt these processes and be able to not only have them adopt, but get some analytics out of the DAP around what people are actually doing and what they're not doing, where they're having issues. You can really refine your change management approach because of these new digital adoption platforms. Okay, number 4, process adherence in general is a huge opportunity for most companies. People going in and not using the system the way that they were expecting it to be used. And I referenced this at my end of my last comments, but I will say that having visibility to where you have gaps is so valuable. As a change lead or even a project or a product owner, if you have those in your organizations, to be able to see people are really struggling at X point in the process, or they're lagging in Y approvals, or whatever it might be, you can start to get some of those insights from these DAPs. So you can really focus in on where you need to do incremental communications, engagements, trainings, or whatnot. Maybe it's just that what you've put in the system is not overly clear too. So you can refine what's in the DAP so that you can really move forward and be really targeted with how you approach these changes. It will increase your process adherence. It could increase your policy adherence, and just general expectations around how people are using these applications to get the most benefit from them. Okay, number 5, and this is definitely not the least. I know it's last on the list, but I think it could be the biggest game changer when it comes to change management and the adoption of your applications, and that is comfort. Okay, if you put yourself in somebody's shoes where they were doing one process day in and day out, using one application, and now you're asking them to use a completely different application, change their process, change their work expectations, change how they're measured in certain cases, change the policies, that can be so overwhelming to people. In fact, a lot of people that we've worked with through this process, they simply just opt out because they think it's going to be too much. Okay? And so if you can offer people that are going through that change to say, don't worry, I know that there's a lot of changes in and outside of the system, but at least for the process inside this application, you are always going to have support. You can ask questions, you can get guidance, you can pull up your training documentations right there in the transaction to be able to say, no, we have you, we have your back, we've thought about you, we know that this is a lot to go through, but you are always going to be supported, is an absolute game changer. Like just saying that alone gives you just this sigh of relief, and it takes one big barrier from adoption success because you can offer it that level of support and comfort through deploying a DAP. So again, probably my favorite aspect of a system like AppDees is to be able to, as a leader, to say, no, I gotcha. You're not going to have to navigate this alone. We are going to provide you step by step. So if you forget something, don't worry. We're there for you. Huge, huge game changer. So with that said, I hope that you've liked this little introduction to digital adoption platforms and the 5 reasons why they're super beneficial to any change management strategy. You'll be hearing more about DAPs from us. It is a offering that we're loving to be able to offer to our clients through our partner AppD. They are phenomenal. If you want to learn more about them, check out the link below. Until next time, please hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss any more Tea Time videos. And we also will be linking below access to our newsletters and to our blogs, so you also can capture any other insights when it comes to change management and digital transformation. I am Amanda Prochaska. I am the founder and Chief Wonder Officer of Wonder Services. Thanks for joining us today. Cheers. Until next time.